Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome to day 2 of patch 6.1. I know that things have been a little bit of a bumpy ride, that there's been some issues, I guess, since the start of the patch. There have been a handful of those which you can find on Reddit and other news announcements, places wherever you find that. But we're not here to talk about that right now. We're here to talk about today one of the most exciting things for me to happen on this patch so far, and that's without Cosmic Crucible, which is going to be out next week, and that will be more exciting then. But for just now, I want to talk about the Wakandan rework, but not the whole team. I want to talk about Shuri. Okay, I think this is one of the most important and crazy things to happen anyways, because I don't know if I'm going to be building the full team, frankly. Like, I've seen some of the reworks and it looks cool, but the one thing that did really interest me the most was how it impacted Shuri. So this entire video is going to be about Shuri and why she's even better than she was before, but the stats are really something, and we have to talk about that. I want to talk about that in relation to Doomraid Tech and the Tech team and the characters that you're using in Tech. And I have a little bit of a footage, my most recent attempt of doing Doomraid Tech and how I just breezed through it. And before I had a little bit of trouble, and barely now I didn't. So that's kind of interesting. So we're gonna get into that as well. So without further ado, let's get the show started. So, we're gonna start here. This is my, I filtered my roster by tech characters. Ignore T'Challa and Stitcher. I currently have them on favorites. I'm not sure if this is for Dark Dimension. I'm not sure if I'm not there yet. Anyways, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do this or not. I haven't decided because of the current patch. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Shuri. We're here to talk about the characters that I use in Doomraid Tech and some of the common characters that people use. So I do flip-flop a little bit, like probably others do, because of cooldowns, because of characters that you may have or whatnot. And the bulk of the team tends to be Doom, Shuri, Kestrel. A lot of people use Lady Deathstrike. A lot of people still use Doc Ock. I actually use Nebula on node 1, and it's not really a big deal. And then from there, it really depends. If there's some really bad RNG, I'll throw in Kate Bishop or Misty Knight or something. I've tried to use Misty Knight on the boss node more recently, because I actually just recently took her to 85, because I thought, hey, maybe I might use her in Dark Dimension 5, but I've been told that she's not a very good choice. So we'll have to see about that one. But anyways, it's really interesting to see how much power my Shuri has gained since the update. Okay, so I have T4s in the basic, and just to reiterate, from what I'm aware of, what's other than the base stats, things that were changed with Shuri, her basic does more damage now than it did before. Now, I have the T4s. I don't remember what the total percentage was beforehand. I think it might have been in the low 200s, but now it's 300%. And so surprisingly, this does a chunk more than it used to. I've actually seen hits for 100k on some characters that, don't have defense up or anything like that. So, it's actually a decent change of damage that, but than what she had before. Now, before anyone says anything, and before I say anything, yes, okay, I have a 7 red Shuri. Okay, so sue me. I pulled that a long time ago. There's nothing I can do about that. So, yeah, it does make her stats, a fair bit better. But we're gonna go check out msf.gg and the stats that she has comparably to some other characters, and it's quite interesting. Now, as far as her special goes for her changes here, they added this apart, generate ability energy for 4 Wakandan allies. This doesn't actually land on her. That would probably be too OP, because if it did, then she would, basically refill her special up every single time. She does get, I believe, 1? I thought she did. Maybe that's, sorry, on the passive. She does actually get 1 for herself on the passive, wherever that is, down here. No, where is that? Something about ability energy. Am I dumb? Yeah, on defense up generated. Okay, so she gets 1 guaranteed, so that's fine there. And that was changed. So the HP part actually was changed for the Wakandan team outside of raids as well. So that's nice too. So she gets this, and the team gets it outside of the raids. It's pretty cool. But the base stat rework was quite something. Okay, so I don't remember exactly how much health my Shuri had before. I'd have to go back in a previous video. But I know that this is quite substantial. I want to say that she definitely had less than 500k pre-patch, even at 7 red. I want to say that maybe she was around the 400k mark. So the stat bumps, the damage bump, and the armor bump was quite something. So I want you to keep note of this. You know, yes, it's 7 red, okay? But she has 723k health. That's very noticeable. Like, there's no chance in hell that Shuri had that much. I don't think she capped 500k, my same Shuri. Her armor value, 31,294, damage 35679. Now, the armor is quite important because that got a very solid bump too. So I want to compare this to Kestrel. Just because everyone uses Kestrel, right? And so this is quite easy. Yeah, I know she's a blaster, but like she's got an armor value of 23,000. What does Shuri have? Like 32? And then the damage of 31.5, health 500. Shuri has like almost 200k more health now than Kestrel does. And the reason why I'm targeting Kestrel here is because she's a very commonly used tech character. You know, a lot of people have her geared to a fairly high degree because she's been meta for a very long time. And so this kind of like, while the kit matters, obviously, but Shuri's stats are still actually better than Kestrel. So damage 31,500. You know, because I have bad memory. Shuri is actually higher damage than Kestrel. Now, overall, she's not, obviously, because of the kit. But it's just hilarious to think that that Shuri's rework has even made it that significant. You know, so that 720k is much higher than a good portion, actually almost all of the tech characters, except for Doctor Doom, probably. So, Gear Tier 16, Lady Deathstrike at 470. Heck, Doctor Doom, 900k. Yeah, I mean, he's some of the highest health totals in the game. Doc Ock, he actually is not bad, 664. So, Shuri has the second highest hit points out of all of the characters here. And that's quite something. So, I want to jump to msf.gg, and I want to show you. This currently is, so this is blue, level 3, 7 yellow, 7 red, gear tier 15. And so it's organized by health. So Shuri is actually ranked 20. And you can't see it on the left-hand side because my frame blocks it. But basically Shuri, wherever that was, Shuri is ranked 21. This says 21, so my apologies, you can't see that. So 21 in health, that's really good. You know, compared to where she was before, which was like average at best, which would have been at the middle part of the roster, right? So that is pretty nice. Now, her armor, we're not going to really look at her damage stat. But actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's look at the damage stats. So we'll do the find button for Shuri. So, okay, she's not 78. It's still pretty middle. It doesn't matter, right? She's not a damage character. Armor, though. She's 7th highest armor in the game now. And I can guarantee you that was not the case before. Focus, where is she now? 18 in focus? Resistance? Okay, not very high. She's clearly somewhere way down here, 106. But, you know, to landing that heal block, the fact that her focus is 19 and the fact that her armor is 7 makes her, and with the health totals now, her survivability is through the roof. And that's crazy. So maybe Shuri is worth that gear tier 15, you know, definitely. That level 85, maybe even a 6 red, you know, if you have some gold promos sitting around. And I'm actually highly contemplating Gear Tier 16, because as far as other legendaries go, like, yeah, there are other, you know, better priorities for that for Dark Dimension Legendary, for sure. Especially with Morgan on the field, and then Omega Red. But after that, it kind of like, you know, because it's tech, right? So I'm like, well, I could do Doc Ock, or do I want to do Shuri now? Because it's actually that Shuri's kit is good, her stats are good now, and it's highly contemplative. I could do that because it's tech if I want to. And I don't know if I will, but it's something I'm considering. And so the final thing that I want to show you is this video footage here that I have, that I did of my Doom Raid Tech 2.1, Doom 2.1. And you know, sometimes I have some struggles on tech, even though it's 2.1, you know, as some people do. RNG is bad, things like that. But as far as the RNG goes for, and I'm trying to start this, why is it not going? Let's go out of the, there we go. Okay, so I went in here, and that's my team. I'll show my team here that I normally use. This is my tech team here, and I use Nebula on the first. So this is a pretty high team, okay? Because like I have Gear Tier 16, Lady Deathstrike. The others are not, but they're very high. They're max, basically, more or less. And even still, I've had some problems doing these nodes with bad RNG, with Silver Surfer, and just in general taking damage right. And some of the hardest parts, I think, is Silver Surfer at the start of turn 1, but of node 1, but also when Silver Surfer does a special, because that can do a lot of damage as well. But look at Shuri's health bar, and maybe it's hard to see, but it's actually quite high, and you'll see that when Silver Surfer does his first ultimate, that it just like tickles Shuri. Now I know she has a defense up, but still. And she had a starting fortifier. Like, she barely... I don't even know if she lost any hit points here. She lost her barrier. She was not the primary target, though, in this case. Dr. Doom was, and that's highly unfortunate because I wasn't able to use his time platform like I normally would in Node 1. But, like, she takes basically no damage. Now, I know that there's not a lot of parts here where she would take damage. You know, she took some here. But, like, she's very healthy, and there's been a lot of instances where it becomes a problem. I don't know if... I don't think this... Yeah, we don't really take much more damage after that. And maybe that's luck. Maybe it was luck. Maybe it was good luck. I didn't get hit by Bishop there, and so maybe that was just it. But some other parts where you would take damage would be like in Node 2. We got through this node pretty easily. Node 2 can sometimes be a challenge, actually. This is where I swap in Doc Ock. I'm not entirely sure why, just for the hell of it. And Cap Sam's ult can sometimes be a bit of an issue because of, you know, and here I have my special back up again, actually, for this node, which is really nice. And it's just like, I've never felt more comfortable doing this than I do now. You know, it's always been a bit of an RNG fest, and today, or this past day, when I ran this one, it didn't feel that way. And so it was quite great, actually. Key point here is actually to really kill Sharon Carter before Cap Sam goes. That way she doesn't get the offense up. He doesn't get the offense up. So you can see there, like that tickled. Now I did have the defense up with Shuri, and it like just scratched the barrier there for 91k. But the fact that Shuri has more hit points also means that the fortifier barrier actually gets significantly more beefy, which is really good. And so you should be running fortifier if you haven't been already, just because the problem with healer is that oftentimes the characters in Doomray Tech are actually heal blocked, so therefore you're not really taking advantage of the healer ice, even though I have it. You're not really taking advantage of it too much, because unfortunately the ult doesn't cleanse unless it hits Shuri herself. But the fortifier barrier, so you're getting 45,000 barrier, and then plus 5% of this character's max health, which, you know, given how much I have right now in my Shuri, and then on turn, barrier 7% of this character's max health. So she's actually getting a significant portion of barrier with the amount of hit points that I have. And this is only going to get better, you know, if at some point we get, you know, blue ISO 4 and 5. So 7%, 10% is about 72k here. So 7% is probably about 50k on turn. But that's still pretty good. So that's just adding on to the total amount of hit points she has, or that they have to punch through in order to get through Shuri. And so now this is just an icing on the cake now, I think. So I don't know why my media player does this. But the point is that, you know, as you go through here, you know, I'm not going to play the whole footage, but I just had no problems clearing through this, and there's been many times where I've struggled before. Now, I'm not going to show you the boss node because I effed that one up. I put in Misty Knight, and I didn't ability block when I was supposed to. I think I screwed up things because I don't normally use Misty Knight. I normally use my time platform and get through Doom, but I fucked that up, and, you know, he got a time platform off before I could block him, and it just went to shit. So that's not the point. The point is that Shuri has just been performing all around way better than she has pre-patch because of those stat reworks. Her survivability, and that was kind of what was always the problem in the past. And actually, if you notice that, she actually didn't get disrupted by Polaris, which was a little bit surprising that I resisted that, because in the past I would never do that. The problem is I got stuck behind this Miss Marvel, and so I couldn't ability block Doom here, which was a big problem. But that's not the issue. The point is, Shuri really got that rework. It was really nice. You know, we'll see with the rest of the Wakandans. At this stage, I'm probably not willing to do that until I see other people do it. I'm not willing to invest my own resources to the Wakandans at this stage, to the broader team. But I'm very pleased and very happy with how Shuri landed. It's going to definitely help in Doomray Tech, because I don't think that we're going to see a tech team for another, I almost want to say 2 patches, because they're going to finish off Invincible, Unlimited X-Men, next patch, 6.2, and maybe there might be a tech character like somewhere in there at the end of it, but otherwise I don't think we're going to get this team or whatever is going to happen until close to 6.3. So we're still about like 3 months off before any tech solution. So in the meantime, Shuri actually does it really well, and you're probably going to have her up anyways to some degree. So, you know, keep with it. And honestly, I think it was a really great change. So I'm really happy. We'll have more to talk about, of course, in the rest of the week as we go on about patch 6.1 and some of my thoughts on some of the other issues. But yeah, that's it for just now. And until next time, stay safe and healthy. And I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.